It's just communication just really fucking goes a long way. And you cannot not run from communication. Every day we're communicating. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I missed you guys so much. I feel like I haven't recorded in a while when honestly I just had videos in my stash that I just was too lazy to edit. But I'm back and I'm ready to drop some more adulting 101 tips for you guys. So yeah, make sure you have a pen and a paper in case you don't have your handy dandy notebook. So before we get into today's topic, make sure you hit that subscribe button below and you check out my Instagram handle on that side. So for today's topic, adulting one-on-one, we have how to communicate. You would think it's very simple, but in reality, it's really not that simple. We like to think as adults that we have it all together, especially when it comes to communicating, which is obviously not the tea. I don't even think adulting and communication should go together because we have one down pat, but we lack the other. So, backstory before I get into communicating. Growing up, I was never a big talker. Talking was never my thing. To this day, I'm not really a talker unless you're a really good friend of mine, family, or it's work. Because obviously after work, you have to fucking communicate with idiots, obviously. So yeah, communication was never my strong suit. To this day, I really don't feel like communication is still my strong suit, but every day that I come on here and I record a video, I feel like I'm getting a little better and I'm working towards my communication. But as far as that communication goes, I'm talking about communication towards another human, your loved one, family, friend, or whatever the case may be. We all like to think that we know how to communicate, but in reality, we really don't know how to communicate. Now, there are multiple communication styles. Whichever one works for you and floats your boat and you feel like you get your point across, I say keep doing it. But just let the other person know that that's your way of communicating. Now, for me, communicating and being an adult actually does go hand in hand. In order for people to see your point and in order to get things that you want in life, you have to learn how to communicate and communicate the right way. When I say learn how to communicate, I mean talking in a polite manner, not being an asshole, not being sarcastic, and not just being blunt and nasty. Because some people really think that that's the way of communicating with other people, and that's totally not the way of communicating with other people. Granted, there are times where you do have to use your sarcasm to get what you want and to get certain people out of your face. I am big on sarcasm. I feel like I was born off of sarcasm. I feel like my mother pushed me out saying some sarcastic shit. So, all my life, that's my language of just communicating through sarcasm. And God bless my friends and family that still stick around with me to this day, because I say every day I have something sarcastic to say. It's just a part of who I am. But I will tell you this, I learned how to use it and I learned how to switch it on and off. So that's what you have to do. If your way of communicating with other people is being sarcastic or just just being sarcastic and not very straight to the point, do learn how to turn it on and turn it off. Back in the day, I really didn't know how to turn it on and turn it off. I wasn't aware of that being my communication style in the beginning anyway. I never knew that when I'm talking to people that they hear it as just being blunt and straightforward and getting straight to the point. Other people can't handle that, especially if they're not a straightforward person and they're not blunt and honest, which is totally okay. So when you become aware that you are that person and that is your communication style, just make sure you know how to turn it on and off by saying, hey, I'm sorry that was a little straightforward. What I was trying to say was that so and so and so was that, and you should do so and so as this. Point blank, period. Makes the world go around. You won't get called assholes and this and that and the third. Now, another communication style that I see a lot of people do use is passive aggressive. Passive aggressive communication, I feel like, is one of the top ways to get killed. I say this to say this because that you're passively, in a conniving way, telling the person that this is what they should do or how they should see your point of view, and yada yada and yada, and you're being very conniving about that. I don't feel like that's a way of communication. I feel like that's a really bad way of communication. And if you communicate like that, stop it right now. Being conniving and being a sneaky snake is not the way to get things, and it's not the way to move forward in life. Like, nobody should be that conniving enough to just be like, hey, well, if you do it this way, that might help you out. Like, do you see how much of a creep I sound like right now? Like, if you do it this way, I might hit you off with something. Like, you see how creepy that shit is? Like, don't do that. Like, that's an easy top 5 way to be on the pedophile list. So, if that's your communication way of style, please stop right now and look at yourself in the mirror when you're talking to somebody like that. You look like a big ass fucking weird. Just don't do it. Anyways, communication is very important in adulting and in life in general. Like I said earlier, it helps to express what you are thinking, feeling, and it helps to get what you want and what you need from the other person and what you need out of life. Communicating doesn't mean you have to be loud. Communication is not being loud and overbearing. I hate people that feel like the only way to get their point across is by being loud and talking over the other person. First of all, I'm not fucking listening to you if you're shouting in my face and being obnoxious. Like, how is that even a form of communication? Like, all you're doing is looking like a crazy person and you're causing more of a scene to yourself. And that's not the point of this communication. Like, those type of people avoid at all costs because they just want to be loud, and they're loud and fucking wrong. So just ignore them because your point is never really gonna get across, like, at all. It's just gonna be bad. Like, no. I had a friend like that one time. Like, every time I would try to, like, express myself, like, it would just be like she pressed up the loud button on the remote to the max, and my point was just never ever getting fucking across. So, no longer friends. So that's not a form of communication at all. Also, communicating is not putting the other person down. I hate people that feel like when you're communicating, you have to belittle a person. You do not have to talk to a person like they're stupid or like they don't know what they're talking about. Some people, when they communicate, their voice shakes and they're not that really. I wouldn't say confident in what they're saying. They're just very timid and they don't know how to get the point across without, like, causing a confliction, if that makes sense. Like, they don't want it to be a conflict. They don't want it to escalate because they don't know where the other person stands. So that's why I say you don't have to belittle the person when they are trying to talk or when they're trying to get their point across. And point across. When they get their point across, it might sound like gibber jabberish, but if you listen closely and you listen in between what the person is saying, then you will totally understand what was the whole point of that conversation. Another thing I learned about communicating is that communicating will take you places, especially if you know how to communicate. You don't have to go to Harvard, you don't have to go to Stanford, you don't have to go to the top schools in America just to, excuse me, just to say that you know how to communicate or to say you know how to talk properly. Because most of the people that do know how to talk properly and are good communicators didn't really start off by going to some big ass fancy Ivy League school. Like, they just know how to communicate and get their point across to people without belittling them and being sarcastic. I never thought that I would come to you guys every Monday to do Motivational Monday. I'm not really big on speaking or communication. I feel like sometimes when I'm talking, my point don't always get across because I always have a lot to say up here, but it doesn't come out the way I want it to come out through here. So sometimes I feel like when I'm communicating, it may be a little off or it just doesn't sound the way I thought it would sound in my head. So it may seem like my communication skills are a little they're really not though. Like, I've grown and I've learned that my communication style is a little different than the next person would expect anybody's communication style to be. Everybody communicates different. As long as you explain to that person that this is your form of communication style, then everything should be great. As long as you're not belittling the person, being sarcastic, being an asshole, being rude, and being conniving, and just totally disregarding their whole point. Communication can take you so far. It's just about getting your point across in a respectful manner. Like, you don't have to be nasty. Like, I hate when people feel like they have to be rude and nasty just to communicate their point across. Like, granted, sometimes we don't always communicate properly, especially when emotions are involved. Like for me, example, when I am really highly upset or over the top emotional, I curse and like all my communication skills go out the window. So you think I don't even know how to talk to people. But that's because my emotions involved. You have to learn how to separate the two. You have to learn how to put your emotions to the side and communicate, even when it feels really, really, really uncomfortable. Because I know I can sit up here and say all day, like, yeah, communication is bomb. You can do it, blah, blah, blah. But when it's emotion involved and when it's something that you had sitting on your chest for so long, all that shit goes out the window and you're not really trying to hear that. And sometimes you have to even come back later to have that conversation again because it was just overwhelming and the emotions was just too heavy for your logic and your communication skills to come out. So I get it. Nobody has perfect communication skills. No wrong or right way to communicate. You just have to communicate the best ways for you. And if in that communication style it wasn't your best or your strong suit or the way you communicate with the person you felt like you didn't like it or something else could have been said or it could have been handled different, I just feel like you should be able to go back to that person and be like, you know what, that wasn't my best day to communicate. I'm totally sorry. And if we can have this conversation face to face over again, I would totally appreciate that. Just let me know when you're free, this and that and the third. And I feel like y'all could go from there. And another thing I also wanted to say, because I feel like this generation and a little bit of my generation too, I feel like a lot of people feel like communicating is through text messages, and no, like, no, like, hell no. Especially when it's like a serious topic or like, yeah, it's not even, no, maybe, yeah, seriously. When it's like a serious topic or something serious in general, a lot of people feel like they'd rather text it, and like, no. The only time I say it's okay to text the other person how you're feeling is when you feel like, once again, you feel like your communication style is not safe and you don't know what you're going to do in person because your emotions is taking over your logic. That's the only time I fucking recommend that you text. But other than that, do not text nothing serious or you feel like that could be squashed in person through message. That's the worst fucking way. I know I just said there's no right or wrong way, but that definitely is the wrong way. That is like a scientific proven fact. Like, that is wrong. Don't do it that way. Like, that is the way that you can leave for so much. You leave so much emphasis. You leave the door open for people to misinterpret, take it personal, be like, oh, I don't like that tone. Like, what the fuck does that even mean? Like, how do you have a tone through texting? Like, whatever. But yeah, you see where I'm going with that. Just don't do it at all, guys. Like, fuck. For fuck's sake. Don't do it. Don't do it. Like, I've gotten so much shit because of that. Just don't do it and take it from me. So yeah, just remember, communication is not easy, but communication will make your relationships better, make you a better talker, will make you express yourself more. It's just, communication just really fucking goes a long way. And you cannot not run from communication. Every day we're communicating. Just let people know off the bat your communication style and try to work on presenting it better and toning it down if you have to, and even taking it up a notch if you have to. Like, just let it be known, okay, guys? So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and you give it a thumbs up, a like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.